Australia has produced some of the most iconic muscle cars in automotive history, and Ford has played a major role in shaping that legacy. From dominating the streets to conquering Mount Panorama, these machines have left an undeniable mark on car culture. Whether it's the raw power of the Falcon GT-HO or the unforgettable styling of the XC Falcon Cobra, Aussie-made Fords are legends. Yet some of these iconic machines have slipped into the shadows of history, remembered only by the most dedicated enthusiasts. In this video, we will uncover 10 of Ford's lost muscle car icons, exploring their history, performance, and the reasons they deserve to be celebrated again today. 1967, Ford XR Falcon GT. The 1967 Ford XR Falcon GT was the car that kick-started Australia's muscle car movement, setting the stage for a new era of high-performance sedans. It was Ford's first attempt at creating a serious performance car for the Australian market, and they nailed it. The XR Falcon GT was a carefully engineered package built for speed and endurance. Under the hood sat a 4.7-litre Windsor V8, producing 225 horsepower, a figure that might seem modest today, but was groundbreaking at the time. Ford's decision to get the XR Falcon GT into the 1967 Gallagher 500 at Bathurst paid off spectacularly. The car, piloted by racing legends Harry Firth and Fred Gibson, stunned Holden and Chrysler by taking the win, cementing Ford's reputation in Australian motorsport. Despite its success, the XR Falcon GT has become one of the lesser-remembered legends of Ford's muscle car history, overshadowed by its more aggressive successors. With the XR GT setting the benchmark, Ford wasted no time refining their formula. The next year brought the XT Falcon GT, a car that took everything great about the XR and made it even better. 1968, Ford XT Falcon GT. Building on the success of the XR Falcon GT, Ford introduced the XT Falcon GT in 1968, refining the formula with subtle but important improvements. The biggest change came under the hood, where the 289 Windsor V8 was swapped out for a larger and more powerful 302 Windsor V8, delivering 230 horsepower. This bump in power made the XT GT more capable on both the road and the racetrack. Although the XT Falcon GT didn't win Bathurst in 1968, it proved its mettle in other forms of motorsport. It excelled in endurance racing and rallies, including an impressive showing in the London to Sydney Marathon, where it helped Ford secure the coveted team prize. Despite its achievements, the XT Falcon GT often gets overshadowed in discussions about Ford's greatest muscle cars, making it a forgotten gem in Ford's rich history. The XT later paved the way for what would become one of the most legendary Australian muscle cars of all time, the XW Falcon GTHO Phase 1. 1969, Ford XW Falcon GTHO Phase 1. The 1969 Ford XW Falcon GTHO Phase 1 was a bold step forward for Ford, marking the true beginning of Australia's high-performance arms race. It was the first Falcon to wear the now legendary Subaru badge, a symbol of Ford's growing confidence and commitment to building the fastest sedans on Australian roads. The XW GTHO wasn't just about brute force, it was designed to dominate Bathurst and establish Ford as the king of muscle cars. It packed a 351 cubic inch Windsor V8 under the hood, producing 300 horsepower, making it the most powerful Falcon to date. With upgraded suspension, larger ventilated front disc brakes, and wider radial tyres, the XW GTHO was built to handle the demands of long-distance racing. On the road, it was raw and unapologetic, delivering blistering acceleration and a top speed of 208 km per hour, figures that were almost unheard of for a four-door sedan in the late 1960s. With the success of the XW Phase 1 the following year, they unleashed the Phase 2, a car that would take their Bathurst ambitions to the next level and solidify Ford's muscle car dominance. 1970, Ford XW Falcon GTHO Phase 2. The XW Falcon GT-HO Phase 2 may have looked similar to the Phase 1 from the outside, but under the skin, it was a different beast entirely. The biggest change came in the form of the new 5.8-litre Cleveland V8 engine, which replaced the Windsor unit. This new power plant, paired with a larger Holley carburettor and improved intake and exhaust systems, delivered far better reliability and an unofficial power output of 345 horsepower, significantly higher than the factory-quoted 300 horsepower. Alan Moffat's victory at the 1970 Bathurst 500 proved the Phase 2's dominance, with a 1-2 finish that left the competition trailing by a full lap. The car's sheer power and resilience cemented its place in Aussie muscle car folklore, and it quickly became the car to beat both on the track and the streets. However, Ford's ambitions didn't stop there, and the company doubled down on its efforts, leading to the creation of one of its most distinctive and memorable models, the XY Falcon GT. 1970 Ford XY Falcon GT. The 1970 Ford XY Falcon GT brought an extra layer of aggression and presence to the already fearsome Falcon GT lineup. While performance upgrades were modest compared to the GTHO models, it was the introduction of the now legendary shaker hood that made the XY GT stand out. Mounted directly to the carburettor, the shaker poked through the hood and moved with the engine, giving the car an unmistakable personality. The XY GT was available in a range of striking colors, each complemented by the GT's signature accents. Inside, the cabin was sportier and more refined than ever, featuring additional gauges, high-backed seats, and a wood-grain dash that added a touch of sophistication to its brutal persona. Powered by the same 351 Cleveland V8 as the Phase 2, the XY GT delivered 300 horsepower and impressive acceleration, making it a force to be reckoned with on the streets. With the XY GT capturing the public's imagination, Ford took things to the next level by unleashing the most powerful and revered Falcon ever built, the XY GT-HO Phase 3, a car that would go down in history as the ultimate Aussie muscle car. 1971, Ford XY Falcon GT-HO Phase 3. Ask any Australian muscle car enthusiast to name the greatest Ford ever built, and chances are they'll say the 1971 XY Falcon GT-HO Phase 3. Ford pulled out all the stops with this model, creating what was, at the time, the fastest four-door production sedan in the world. Its 351 Cleveland V8, tweaked to within an inch of its life, officially produced 300 horsepower, though insiders and mechanics knew it was closer to 380 horsepower. The Phase 3 could sprint to 100 kilometers per hour in just 6.4 seconds, which was phenomenal for a family sedan in the early 70s. The Phase 3 was instantly recognizable with its aggressive stance, bold striping, and that all-important shaker hood. It was built to win, and it did just that, dominating the 1971 Bathurst 500 with Alan Moffat behind the wheel, leaving Ford fans with memories that would last a lifetime. The combination of power, handling, and sheer presence made it the ultimate muscle car of its era. As government regulations and fuel crises loomed on the horizon, the muscle car arms race slowed down, so Ford took a different approach to performance, producing the XA Falcon GT. 1972. Ford XA Falcon GT Hardtop RPO 83. The 1972 Ford XA Falcon GT Hardtop RPO 83 is one of the most intriguing muscle cars Ford ever built. It was born out of the infamous supercar scare when media and political pressure forced Australian car manufacturers to abandon plans for ultra-high performance road cars. Ford had been developing the XA GT-HO Phase 4, a car intended to dominate Bathurst, but the government crackdown meant it was cancelled before it could officially hit the streets. However, Ford wasn't about to let all their race-ready parts go to waste, producing the Option 83, or RPO 83. This wasn't an official high-performance variant in the traditional sense. Instead, Ford quietly funneled leftover Phase 4 parts, engines, exhausts, and even suspension components into a select batch of XA Falcon GTs without making a fuss about it. This meant that some cars got Phase 4 level components, while others were closer to standard XA GTs. This randomness earned the RPO-83 the nickname the Lucky Dip GT because buyers never really knew what they were getting. It's this mystery that has made it one of the most sought-after and collectible Falcon GTs today. With the XC Falcon GT Hardtop RPO-83 flying under the radar, Ford turned their attention to a new chapter, the XC Falcon GT. 1973 Ford XC Falcon GT Hardtop. The 1973 Ford XC Falcon GT Hardtop is often considered one of the best-looking Aussie muscle cars ever made. With its long, low stance and aggressive lines, it took styling cues from the 1971 Mustang Mach-1, giving it a distinct American muscle influence while maintaining an unmistakable Aussie character. The XB was more refined than the XA it replaced, with a sharper front end, a honeycomb grille, and bold GT badging that commanded attention. Under the hood, the XB Falcon GT packed a 351 Cleveland 5.8, delivering around 300 horsepower. While it didn't have the raw aggression of earlier GTHOs, it was more balanced, offering improved ride quality and handling. Although it never claimed a Bathurst victory, Alan Moffat's success in the Australian Touring Car Championship cemented its motorsport credibility, proving it had the chops to back up its aggressive styling. After the XB GT, Ford had something a little more playful in mind for 1975, the John Goss Special, a car designed to appeal to a younger crowd with a taste for style and individuality. 1975 Ford XB John Goss Special. The 1975 Ford XB John Goss Special was Ford's way of celebrating the success of John Goss, who famously won the 1974 Bathurst 1000 in a Falcon. It was a car that blended motorsport flair with everyday affordability, giving buyers a chance to own something special without the high price tag of a full GT model. Ford pitched it as a stylish and sporty alternative with enough unique touches to make it stand out from the crowd. What really set the John Goss Special apart was its bold two-tone paintwork. Buyers could choose from Apollo blue or emerald green. Both contrasted with stark white panels and eye-catching orange striping. While it may have looked fast, the John Goss Special was more about style than outright performance. It came with a 302 Cleveland V8 under the hood, producing a respectable 240 horsepower. With this car, Ford also managed to strike the perfect balance between looks, comfort, and affordability, making it a hit with younger buyers looking for something different. But while the John Goss Special was all about style, the 1978 XC Falcon Bathurst Cobra was something else entirely. 1978 Ford XC Falcon Bathurst Cobra. Few Aussie muscle cars are as instantly recognizable as the 1978 Ford XC Falcon Bathurst Cobra. With its striking blue and white racing livery and bold Cobra snake decals, it became an icon the moment it hit the streets. With the upcoming XD Falcon set to replace the XC model, Ford found themselves with 400 leftover hardtop body shells sitting in their factory. So, instead of scrapping them, they fitted half of the 400 Cobras produced with a 4.9-litre V8, while the other half got the more powerful 5.8-litre Cleveland V8. However, it's the 30 Bathurst Specials, known as Option 97 cars, that really got an upgrade. These cars were packed with race-spec upgrades, including heavy-duty suspension, bigger brakes, and a long-range fuel tank designed for endurance racing. This car gave Ford the last hurrah for the Falcon Hardtop, and they ensured they went out with a bang, leaving behind a legend that still captivates enthusiasts decades later. So, what do you think of these legendary Aussie-made Fords? Which one would you love to take for a spin? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more awesome content like this. Until next time, thanks for watching.